Weimar, 1790s. In the same city where Goethe is finishing Faust and Schiller is staging Don Carlos, a young Wilhelm von Humboldt sits at the edge of a cultural explosion, watching a language being consciously rebuilt into a civilization. He witnessed firsthand the deliberate construction of a national German identity through literature. Goethe, Schiller, Hölderlin, and others were not merely producing masterpieces, but consciously forging the German language into a shared cultural and social bond, unifying fragmented principalities into a common imaginative community. Berlin, a few years later. Humboldt is now reading Sanskrit grammars alongside Celtic antiquities, comparing verb structures across continents, watching philology become something it had never been before, a science. Simultaneously, the rise of Indo-European linguistics and comparative philology was laying the groundwork for a scientific study of language, one Humboldt recognized would necessarily draw on history, psychology, poetics, ethnography, and biology. Influenced by Goethe's organicist thinking, he saw individual phenomena as expressions of a deeper universal energy. Nothing is truly isolated, only not yet perceived within its surrounding field of meaning. Picture two brothers at a dinner table, one just back from mapping the Amazon, the other deep in a manuscript on Javanese grammar, casually covering between them most of what humanity then knew. Together with his brother Alexander, Wilhelm represented perhaps the last generation of Europeans capable of engaging with virtually the totality of existing knowledge, from mineralogy to metaphysics, from Amerindian antiquities to modern technology. This encyclopedic scope allowed him to place language at the center of human existence with genuine intellectual authority. His thought also retained openness to older traditions of mystical and occult linguistic speculation, stretching back to Nicholas of Cusa and Paracelsus. In Humboldt's work, ancient intuition and modern scientific rigor coexisted, making his enterprise both a culmination and a new beginning. Every civilization eventually becomes a prisoner of its own clarity. The categories it builds to understand the world become the walls it cannot see beyond. The very achievements that define it, its sciences, its institutions, its literary canons, its grammars, calcify into a ceiling. Not through failure, but through success. A civilization reaches the limits of what its own framework allows it to ask. Humboldt understood this, perhaps without fully naming it. That is why he kept returning to the edges, to indigenous languages that carved reality differently, to Sanskrit grammars that revealed what Greek had hidden, to folk poetry that carried what philosophy had forgotten. Every encounter with a genuinely foreign framework was not merely an addition to knowledge, it was a fracture in the ceiling.